Okay, let's see how it works out. All right, so we're going to go through our EOC review number 4, the questions. Please, if you have not taken the notes, that is for grade. It's so much more to it than just what the questions that I'm going to be going through today. So it's super duper important that you go through those notes, okay? Please do that. All right, so this is our EOC review statistics, okay? The first question says, at a particular company, every employee receives 4% cost of living increase to their salary. So everybody's salary is going to go up 4%. What is the impact, or what impact does the cost of living increase have on the mean and the range? Well, if all the numbers are, or if each of the numbers are going up, that's going to make your mean increase also. So your mean is going to go up. Your mean is going to increase. Now your range on the other end, please write this stuff down, okay? Your range on the other end, let's just make up some ranges. Let's suppose your numbers go from 2 to 10. That means your range is 8, right? Let's suppose each of the numbers go up, at least use an easy number 2. So that means your new lowest number is 4 and your new highest number is 12. Well, the range between these numbers is still going to be 8. Okay, so since all of the numbers are doing an increase, the range is still going to stay the same, but the mean is going to increase. So here, let's read the best. Let's see which one is the best answer choice. The mean increases. This is true, but the range does not change. This is a true statement. So this is our best answer so far. The mean does not change. Not true. It does change. The mean and the range both increase. Just the mean, not the range. This is not true either. And the mean and the range do not change. The mean changes, the range does not. So again, our best answer is A. Any questions about why A is our best answer? Please do not hesitate to ask questions, because you'll see questions that could be similar to this, okay? So please make sure that you ask. Frequency table. Frequency is how many. So it's always going to tell you how many of something. Your frequency table below shows the age distribution. A distribution is just how the numbers are displayed, okay? How the numbers are spread out. Distributions show a lot about the group of numbers or the data that you have collected. So this distribution here are the people at the park. Okay, you got male, you got female, you got different age groups. Okay, it says, what is the probability? Probability is the chance that something will occur. Right? It's the chance that something will occur. This is kind of like a 7th grade skill there, probability, 6th or 7th, I can't remember. It says the probability a random selected person at a park is female, given that the person is under 40 years of age. So all we're going to look at is just the 40-year-olds. So just the 40-year-olds are going to be the people here, males and females that are under 40 years of age, because they said under, sorry. All right, so we know the formula for probability is always your favorable outcome, what you're looking for basically, divided by or over the total, the grand total amount. So that's how do you find probability. All right, in this case, you want to know your favorable outcome is the number of females that are under 40, okay? The number of females that are under 40. So first we got to total up. Let's do the total first, okay? We're going to need to total up all the people that are under 40. So we got total under 40. Please show work, okay? We got 50, then we got 18, 42, and we got 18. These are all the people that are under 40, okay? This total is 128, okay? Now we're going to total the number of females that are 40. So now we're doing females. So we're going to add 42 and 18. So that's 42 plus 18, and that gives us 60, okay? So this is the formula for probability. So your favorable outcome, what you're looking for is the females that are under 40. So that's 60 over the grand total of people that are under 40. which is 128. Our answer choices are written as fractions. So we're going to reduce this because we don't see this answer here. We need to reduce it as a fraction. So that's 60 divided by 128. Math, enter, and that gives us 15 over 32. The answer there is letter C. Are there any questions about that one? Yes, baby, go ahead. Oh, when I typed the fraction in, great question. I typed in 60 divided by 128, and then I pressed this math button right here. And this is the screen. This is conversion. You see the little arrow? You want to convert it to a fraction. So you press enter, and then it comes up on your screen, and you press enter once more. And this is your reduced fraction. You're welcome. Okay. Guys, big or small, please ask all your questions, okay? Just ask. All right, so here we got 21 students at the school that have an allergy to peanuts, shellfish, or both. 14 of those jokers have allergies to peanuts, and 12 of those jokers have allergies to shellfish, okay? How many students have allergies to both? How many are allergic to both? So we're going to add this together. We got 14 plus we got the 12. So this is going to give us 6 here, 2 here. That's 26 people. And we're going to take the 26 people and we're going to subtract. We're going to subtract 21. Okay. And whatever's left is allergic to them both. So when I subtract 21, I get 5. So 5 people are allergic to them both. Any questions, comments, or concerns about that? Okay, keep going. Number 4, okay. Number 4, there are 250 students in a senior class. Of the 250 students, there are 102 boys. There are 20 senior girls and 18 senior boys on the track team. Again, it's probability. Probability is the formula. Well, the definition for probability first is going to be the change that something may occur. Okay. The formula for that one is going to be your favorable outcome divided by the total. That's how you find probability. So what is the probability a random student from the senior class is a girl that does not run track? So we're going to draw a table and put this information in, okay? I'm going to show you how to do the table simply because, listen, you might not have this exact question, but you're going to have a question where you're going to have to create a table. So you need to know how to create a table. This is how the table goes. You need to think in your mind, what are they comparing? They're comparing girls to boys. So I'm going to put girls first, ladies first, then I'm going to put boys. Okay, what about them? What are they comparing them to? Okay, those that run track and those that don't run track, right? So we got track and then no track. And then since this is a two-way table, and I know it's a two-way table because I'm comparing 2 different categories with some things, with some categories. So since I'm making comparisons here of 2 different kinds of groups, at least 2 different kinds of groups, because it can be more groups involved. This is called a two-way table. So in my two-way table, there's always a total. Okay, and this is just in case you don't remember this from, I think maybe 7th, towards the end of your 7th grade year. You might not remember this, or they might not have had time to cover it. So creating a two-way table goes exactly like this. Okay. So my grand total amount of students, this is super important. This is the information they give you, is 250 students. So the grand total of everybody always goes in this bottom corner here. This is the grand total of everything. Okay, this is the total. Well, I could put totals right here. That might help you. This is the total people that run track, the total people that don't run track, and the totals of girls and boys. So the grand total is right here. There are 250 students. Of those 250 students, 102 of them are boys. So go to boys. The total amount of boys goes here. That's 102. Okay, so then how do I find the total of girls? All I got to do is take the 250 and subtract 102 from it. You see, well, let me clear my calculator. Second plus 712, because I had it in a different mode. So that's 250 minus 102. And that gives me 148 girls. Okay. Now, check this off. I got this, I got that. Now it says there are 20 senior girls and 18 senior boys who are on the track team. So you can infer they run track. If they're on the track team, they run track. So how many girls run track? 20. How many boys run track? 18. So the total number of students that run track, when you add the girls and the boys together, this is 8, this is 3, so it's 38. 38 students in all run track. So then how many of them don't run track? So you can subtract to figure that out here. So you got the 250 minus the 38, right? And that gives you 212. Okay? So now you can figure out the number of students that are girls that don't run track and boys that don't run track. If this is the total number of girls in all and 20 of them run track, the rest of them don't run track. So that's 148 minus the 20. You can do that in your head, right? That's 128. Okay. And so do the same thing here. You have 102 minus the 18, and that gives you 84. Now these two numbers added together gives you this 212. So now you have a good table of information. So now you can answer your probability questions because you know how many of everything that falls in every category. So the probability a random student is chosen from the senior class is a girl who runs track. So girls that run, girls who do not run track. Ooh, that's important. We almost got the wrong answer there. Girls that do not run track is going to be this number right here, 128. Okay, so so that's what you're looking for over the total number, which is 250. Let's look and see what my answer choices look like. Super important. They're decimals, so I want to write this as a decimal. So let me divide and get my decimal. This is 128 divided by 250, and that gives me 0.512. Okay, that gives me 0.512. So 512 thousandths is my answer here. Any questions about that? Is there anyone that is still copying? If you are, I can wait. Okay, all right. An elevator can hold a maximum of 1,500 pounds, okay? 8 people need to use the elevator. Bill has some measurements from a data set of how much each person weighed. All right, so he knew about how much each person weighed, or he got the measurements of each person. Which measure would be most useful to determine if people can safely use an elevator? The average weight, okay, that could be very useful. That's a possible answer there. The average of how much each person weighed, that could be very useful. The median, that's where you put all the numbers in order from least to greatest and you pick the number that's in the middle. It doesn't tell me too much, because what happens when all the people on this side are really, really small? And then you got some larger folks over here, but because that small number falls in the middle, then you're automatically going to assume that just about everybody is going to be that weight, and that is not true. So the median could be misleading in this case, okay? So we're not going to choose that. Mode could be misleading too, because you might have 2 really small people, and then and that could be your mode, but the rest of the people don't weigh that amount. So it's very misleading to just get the mode, okay? The interquartile range is where you subtract the upper quartile minus the lower quartile. Or if you watch the video, the 70th percentile minus the 25th percentile. That's not really telling me a whole lot. Interquartile range doesn't really tell me a whole lot about how many people, and a lot of people don't even know that anyway. So they're like, "What? Well, why are they telling? What information is that going to tell me?" Absolutely not. The best thing for folks to know is going to be the average of how much each person is going to weigh. It's A there. The table below shows the area of several states. These are the states here. You must read the table. Anytime they give you a table, try to fully understand what that table is giving you. It's area, so we're talking about how big, how much land each of these states are. And it's written in terms of thousands. Of course, it's not going to be 6 miles squared. It's written in terms of thousands. So you see a 6 here, but this means this is 6,000 square miles. This is 59,000 square miles, 12,000 square miles. So it's important to understand the table. All right. It says Delaware has an area of 2,000 square miles. It says which is true if Delaware is included in the data set. So let's include Delaware here. This is Delaware, and let's include it. We're going to put 2 here because 2,000 in this table is represented as just saying 2. It's written in terms of thousands. All right, so what I noticed when I add 2 to it, that now 2 is the smallest number instead of 6. Okay, so 2 is now literally the smallest area there. Delaware is really small. All right, so does the mean increase? No, that average is not going to increase because 2 is not going to make it increase. It's really going to make it decrease there. That's just like when you think of grades. Yes, sir. Just like when you're talking about grades. If my average is a 70 and I make a number that's lower than a 70, that's going to bring my average down. Okay, so think about it like that. So your average is not going to increase unless your number or your score is higher than what you already have. If it's not higher than what you already have, then that average is not going to increase. All right, your range decreases. Your range actually increases because it went from starting at 6 to now going down to 2. So your range is going to be a little bit longer, okay? Because now instead of subtracting the largest number from 6 from the largest number, now you got to subtract 2. So that's going to make that number a little bit larger, okay? Your interquartile, let me mark these out, sorry. Your interquartile range decreases. 2 does not affect the interquartile range. Okay, 2 affects that smallest number, but it's not really going to affect the interquartile range. And the fact that it's really close to 6, it's not going to affect your interquartile range. So no. All right, for those of you that don't understand what standard deviation is, that's okay. Your standard deviation is about how far your numbers are away from the mean. Okay, how far your numbers are away from the mean. So what that means is this: the larger your number or your standard deviation is, the more spread out your numbers are in that list. The smaller your standard deviation is, the closer those numbers are together. Okay, so if you have a graph that looks like this, where these numbers are really close together, this standard deviation is small. Okay, this has a small standard deviation. Standard deviation, SD, okay? If the numbers are spread out, this standard deviation is large. This is a larger standard deviation because the numbers are spread out. The numbers are further away from this middle number or this average here. Okay, the numbers are closer together, smaller deviation. The numbers are further apart, larger deviation. Please write that down. So this is your answer here. Any questions about that? Are there any questions in general? Okay. Number 7, It says the number of points scored in a baseball game, scored by a basketball player, I'm reading it all wrong, in the first 8 games of the season are below. So let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Those are your first 8 games. What would happen to the data distribution? Distribution is just how the numbers are spread out. Don't get confused with that word. If she scored, so this basketball player is a girl, these points right here in the next 4 games. 1, 2, 3, next 4 games. All right, so read the best answer. But let me make some observations first. Already my smallest number is right here at 15. My larger number is 35, okay? So all of these numbers here fall in the middle. Okay, they fall in the middle somewhere between these numbers anyway. If I was to put these numbers in order from least to greatest, these will kind of be in the middle, okay? So it doesn't affect the range of the numbers for sure. It's not gonna really affect the standard deviation too, because it doesn't make the numbers spread out anymore, okay? All right. If anything, it's really closely related to the middle anyway. So what does that mean? Let's read A. The data distribution will become less peak, not less peak. That means instead of being high like this, the middle being high, that means it's kind of low. No, the numbers in the middle are going to get a little higher because these numbers are in the middle. So you're adding more points in the middle. So it's not less peak, it's more peak because you're adding more numbers between these two numbers. So no, not less peak. Okay. And this part right here is also false. More widely spread. The spread didn't change. You see that? It did not, these numbers didn't make that spread wider. Okay. All right. So A is not my choice. Here it says become less peak again. No, that's not the right answer either. This is about the same thing. Both parts have to be true in order for it to be true. The data distribution will become more peak. Yes, it's going to become more peak and it's less likely spread. Yes, it is. It's not more of a spread. It's less of a spread because they're still right there in the middle. So this is going to be the best answer here because again, even though this is right, the second part of it is wrong. Okay. Any questions about number 7? Number 8, a book club has 200 members. Okay. It has a total of 200 members. It says each member is asked whether he or she prefers fiction or nonfiction. This is fiction. This is nonfiction. This is a relative frequency table. A frequency table is how many. A relative frequency table tells you how many, but it's giving you the decimal, which you can convert to a percentage. So it's super important that they tell you how many people total this involves. That way you can figure out how many people are in each of these categories. Without this, you wouldn't know how many people fall in this category. You'd only have percentages. So then what do you do to convert this from percent to how many people in this category? Where you're going to take your 200 members and you're going to multiply times the decimal. Okay. You're going to multiply time. That's how you figure out what each of these are. All right. So you know the grand total is 200. So right here, the grand total, again, is 200. That's given to you. 100%. 1 as a decimal is 100%. 100% of the people is 200 people total. 200 members. So the total, the grand total here is 200. Now to find each of these parts, we multiply these decimals, which are percentages really, to 200. Okay, so let's do that. We have 200 times this 0.32, which is 32%, and that gives us 64 people in this category. 64 people that are in this age range that like fiction. Okay, then let's do this one. Look, you got 200 again. Oops, I did too many zeros. Times 38%. Okay, this is basically a decimal written as a percent. And that gives you 76 people. And I could add this up to get the total. So when I add that, look at what happens. When I add So 64 plus the 76, that gives me 140. Even when I take 70%, 200 times the 70%, it gives me the exact same thing, which is 140 people total. If 140 people total are into fiction, then how many are in the nonfiction if there's a total of 200 people? So you say 200 people minus the 140, and that gives you 60 people here, okay? Or you can take 30%, 200 times 0.30, and that still gives you 60 people, okay? And now we're going to do this, 19%. Yeah, that's right. We got 20 times 0.19, and that gives you 38 people here in this category. We got 20 times 11% here, that gives you 22. So when you add 22 plus 38, that gives you 60. So let's do this. We can add these together to get the total here, add this together to get the total here, or we can do the percentage. 200 times what is that, 57? 57, and that gives us 114. And we got 200 minus the 114, and that gives us 86. Or we could have added these two numbers together right here and give us 86. So now we got all of the numbers in the table. Any questions about how to find or how to fill out a table that looks like this, a relative frequency table? All right, so now which statement is true? Super important, because sometimes you can get it wrong just because you read that true, false, wrong, because they might say which one's false. So please make sure you read it. True is what we're looking for. 6 more of people in this age group, 31 to 40 years of age, than 21 to 30 prefer fiction. So let's look at fiction. We're looking at these two age groups. When we subtract the number of people in these age groups, we got the 76 minus the 64. That gives us 12 people. So this is false because it's really 12 more people. Here, 38 members that are in this age group right here prefer fiction. So look under fiction and look at this age group right here, which is 31 to 40. And it's not 38 members. See, it's 38%. It's really 76 members. It's supposed to be 76 here. This is not right. And a lot of people will choose that because they're just looking at that decimal and not knowing what that really means. That's saying percentage, not the number of. See, 43 members are in this age group. So let's go and look at this age group. Didn't say whether it was fiction or nonfiction. It just says that age group. So let's look at just that age group. 21 to 30. So we got 21 to 30 is this first group. And the total amount, you need me, babe? You just looking. I don't know if Lillian left it here or not. I don't see it. She sits right over there in that corner. Do y'all see a sweatshirt over there? Just leave it. Well, she can come back and get it. You want to get it, or you want to get us to give it to you?
I don't have an issue.
I don't have an issue. You do whatever you want. Yeah. All right. So here, this age group right here. Do y'all see this age group? 21 to 30. Okay, years of age. It says 43 members. No, that's 43%, not 43 members. It's actually 86 members. Okay. And then the last one, so this is wrong. The last one says 140 members prefer fiction. So let's look at fiction. And it doesn't say which age group, it's just talking about in general fiction. So the total number of people that enjoy fiction is 140. And that is true. It's 140. Okay. All right. So now I want you to be able to do number 9 on your own. If you need the answer to that and you already did it, just text me and I'll tell you what that answer is. But I want to know that you already tried it first before I just give you the answer, because some of us haven't done this yet. And that's okay. But I don't want to give you the answer until you've done this. Okay, number 10. Let's look at number 10. It says, in the scat, are there any questions? I don't think I said that. Are there any questions? I'm sorry. Okay, all right. Number 10, In the scatter plot shown at the right, this is the scatter plot right here, which statement best describes the correlation between the days of the week and the number of bicycles? So is this, let's identify first, is this a positive correlation or a negative correlation? Which one is this? Yes, babe. It's positive. How does he know that this is a positive correlation? Yes. Because the points are going up. On the average, these points are going up. So this is a positive correlation. So let's mark off the negative ones. It says high and low. Weird wording to use, but what they really mean, high is saying strong and low is strength saying weak. Okay? They have this the same, it has the same meaning. Is this a strong correlation or a high correlation, or is it a low or weak correlation? What are we thinking? Say again, babe. It is very high. Okay, because these points almost form what you call a straight line. They are close together. I mean, they really are. They almost form a straight line. I shouldn't say close together. That's not what I meant. I mean, the fact that they can almost form a straight line, that's what makes this a strong positive correlation. So your answer here is 3. And then I want you to read number 11 and do number 11 on your own. When you finish number 11, feel free to text me and I will give you the answer to number 11 if you need that one. Questions, comments, or concerns? I want you to do it first before you just say whatever. So when you ask me, say, is this correct? Don't just say, you know, don't do that. Just say, is such and such the answer? Don't just say, oh, I need the answer to blah, 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 blah. Because I want you to do it first. I don't want to just give you answers. Questions, comments, or concerns? Yes, baby.
I got one about,
I can't hear you, baby.
I got one about number 8.
You got a question about number 8? Okay, let's go back to number 8. Go ahead. What's your question, baby? Put this back up here real quick. How did I get 46? I got 86. This is 12, 76, 86. Or where's 46 that you're talking about in the table?
Oh,
okay. Are you okay with that? Okay. All right. Any other questions? Big or small, ask them all, guys. I mean, seriously. Do not be shy. All right. If you think of something to ask, then please just let me know. Okay. If you think of something to ask, just let me know. I don't want to open the chat. So if you're sending me a question in the chat, I'm not going to open the chat because I don't want it to show on the video. Because that's rather private. And since I don't have my dot camera working, it's going to show up on my video. So if you have a question, please say it aloud, or you can text it in Remind. I'll be more than happy to read that. Which one is that? Is that the last one? Which one did I do? I'll tell you in a minute. Okay. All right. So notebook. Oh boy, I'm having to work you all hard. I'm so sorry, but that's so much stuff that I have to get in. I don't want anything to be on your test that is like, unless it's like one of those practice questions that they like to put on there just to see. But I want to have taught every single thing that you are supposed to know on your EOC. I can't sleep unless I've taught every single thing that you are supposed to know on that EOC. So I know it feels like I'm pushing you to death. I make no apologies for that. Really, I don't. I just want you to be successful, okay? So that's why I'm pushing you this way. All right, so we have Q4. This is page 20. Please bear with me. We're almost done. And this is understanding quadratics. Okay. I want to do piece by piece. Please go back and read the notes that we did on quadratic functions before we started this unit. Go back and read the section. Guys, please read your notes, okay? It's so important, super duper important. All right, so today is the 11th. Okay, so Understanding quadratic functions, and I just wrote under. That's what I get for talking so much. It's supposed to be understanding quadratic functions. All right, quadratic functions, they graph U-shaped lines. They graph U-shaped lines, yes, baby. Yeah. They graph U-shaped lines or parabolas. They graph U-shaped lines or parabolas. A parabola is a U-shaped line. Quadratic function is either going to be an upward U or a downward U. No sideways U's, guys. It's either upward or downward. That's it. So you're either going to have an upward U or you're going to have a downward U. Upward. So either it's going to be an upward parabola or a downward parabola. Please go back and read those notes before we started this whole unit. It's super important. All right, so now with that, the thing that you have to understand is the standard form that quadratic functions are written in, okay? So this is how most of the equations are written. Standard form for quadratic functions. And then we're going to talk about the different parts, okay? I'm going to add a little bit at a time. Give you just a little bit today, and I'm going to keep adding to it, okay? Till I'm finished. It's y is equal to, it is a function, so we got y is equal to ax squared. We got the x squared term, plus we have bx plus c. And we talked about what each of these letters mean. Please go back and read your notes, okay, on what they mean. It's super important. Okay, without this x squared term, it would not be a quadratic function. You can have this is a quadratic function. You can have even this as a quadratic function. And you can have just these two terms. This is still a quadratic function. But without this is not a quadratic function. It has to have the x squared term. Right? So let's dig deeper into these parabolas. Right? With a parabola or quadratic function, you have what do I want to say? You have a minimum value or you have a maximum value. This point, the highest or the lowest point of a parabola is always called your vertex. So this lowest point of the parabola is called the vertex. The highest point of the parabola is called the vertex. The lowest and highest point of the parabola is called the vertex. And of course, your vertex has an x coordinate and a y coordinate. X coordinate and a y coordinate. Okay. Your lowest and your highest. Your lowest point of the parabola, that's called the vertex, is also called your minimum value. Your highest point of the parabola or vertex is going to be called your maximum value. A vertex is either or, but not both. It's either called the minimum value or the maximum value. But for obvious reasons, it can't be both. It's either going to be the smallest, but the lowest point on the parabola or the highest point on the parabola. Any questions about that? Okay. The invisible line that cuts a parabola in half is called the axis of symmetry. So this invisible line that cuts a parabola in half, and sometimes, it's a straight, sometimes we just, it's an invisible line. Sometimes you'll see it as a dashed line. But this line right here is called the axis of symmetry. It's the invisible line that cuts the parabola in half. Okay. Now, Brandon, instead of taking time to read and doing that time thing, you could actually be writing stuff down and time will go by so much faster for you, babe. We'll go, I promise you we'll go by so much faster. It's when we're sitting around doing nothing, it seems as though time is going by slow. But if you engage yourself, babe, it would probably be better for you. I mean, just my observation. Life is pro-choice. We make our own decisions of what we decide to do. We really do. Nobody can force you to do these things, but you should want to do them so that it benefits you in your future. Okay? All right, so we have our invisible lines that cut the parabolas in half. These are called our axis of symmetry, okay? This is the axis of symmetry. Now, this is the last part of our notes, and then I'm going to let you go. Let you go because I've already given you so much information today. Sorry for the overload. We got graphing, vertical lines, and that's what a axis of symmetry is. An axis of symmetry is a vertical line. It's the up and down line that goes through the vertex. So it's important that you understand what a vertical line looks like and what the equation is going to look like. I have a regular coordinate plane. Okay. If the line goes through 4 on the x-axis, the equation for this line is x is equal to 4 because it goes through 4 on the x-axis. So this is the equation for that line. If the line goes through a positive 2 on the x-axis, then the equation for this line is x is equal to 2. Okay. If the line goes through -3 on the x-axis, then the equation for this line is x is equal to a -3. And hopefully you understand the correlation that I'm trying to make here. Anytime you have a vertical line going through the x-axis, this is how you write the equations for that.
If you have a lower Chromebook, please put it into the bin in the hallway at this time. Any 8th grade interested in trying out for Glenn High School cheerleading, there will be a virtual meeting tomorrow at 7 p.m. Please check the school's website at Glenn for more information.
Cool beans. Okay. All right, so your axis of symmetry formula and the abbreviation that they use for axis of symmetry is AOS. The formula is x is equal to, because it is a vertical line, -b divided by 2a. That's the formula. Okay. The last thing I'm going to tell you about this, and then I'm going to let you go, is that, and we'll get more in depth with this tomorrow. Not tomorrow, but Thursday. Your axis of symmetry formula is x because it is a vertical line, goes through the x-axis. But your b, the number for b, is going to come from the equation that you're finding the axis of symmetry for. So if this is the equation right here, my b is going to be the number that's attached to the x. My a is going to be the number that's attached to the x squared. And c, I don't need. Okay, I don't need c. I don't need this number right here to find the axis of symmetry. All I need is these two numbers right here to find the axis of symmetry. And we'll go over how to find axis of symmetry Thursday. Questions, comments, or concerns? Is there anyone that's still copying? Yes, baby, what's your question? It's okay, just do the best you can. Does it have arrows at the end, which indicates that the line is going to continue? So absolutely, yes. All right, I'm going to stop it here unless we have questions about this. Anybody still copying? Okay. All right, did I miss anybody's name earlier from the attendance? Wisteria is here. Charles is here. Fun2 is here. I didn't see. Fun2, was you here yesterday?
Yeah.
Okay, I think I marked you absent. I have to go back and fix it. Sorry, babe. Cameron is gone. Well, he didn't show his face, so I'm still going to mark him absent. All right, guys. I hope you have a great, great day, okay? Have any questions, just let me know. If I missed your name, please stay. Brayden, you are here too. I missed you. Hey, babe. Bye, guys. Oh, Will, let me see what that is, babe. Check for you.
I'm not sure, but I think I saw my bus.
Bye, baby. You said number 9, Will? Number 9?
It was the same answer for 9/11.
Oh, same answer for they're both the same. Yep. Good job. Yes. You got those right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. What happened? You know I was gonna ask.
That's why I put down here.
What happened?
I had told you, like, girl. I say I was
Was it a good thing or a bad thing?
And it was like an in the middle type.
Really?
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, let me stop recording.
So I had